it started with light. A blinding object tore through Earth's atmosphere, streaking across the night sky before crashing into the plains of Kansas. Farmers reported the ground shaking, windows shattering, and a strange energy pulsing through the air. When first responders arrived, they didn't find a meteor. They found it. Standing in the middle of the smoking crater was a creature unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Tall, pale, with a long purple tail and eyes glowing like amethyst, it radiated power. It didn't speak. It didn't move. It simply stared at the humans surrounding it, as if it was judging them. The world would soon know its name: Mewtwo. Within hours, news spread like wildfire. Governments scrambled to respond, each determined to claim this creature for themselves. The United States dispatched covert military teams with prototype equipment to capture it, while Russia, China, and North Korea launched their own missions, sparking a deadly shadow war across borders. Villages near the crash site were evacuated as firefights erupted between rival special forces units. Witnesses claimed the creature could destroy tanks without touching them, disarm soldiers with a single glance, and vanish into thin air. After days of pursuit and chaos, the United States succeeded. Using advanced psychic dampeners, energy nets, and experimental containment tech developed by NASA, Mewtwo was finally subdued. It was taken to a secret facility buried deep beneath the deserts of Nevada, a massive underground lab reinforced with concrete, steel, and layers of security that made it one of the most secure locations on Earth. Inside its cell, Mewtwo remained silent. For weeks, it didn't resist. Scientists worked day and night, scanning its brain, mapping its DNA, and running endless tests. The Pentagon didn't see a living being. They saw the ultimate weapon. If they could harness this power, they believed the United States could achieve military dominance for centuries. But the rest of the world was watching. China, Russia, and North Korea demanded Mewtwo be shared with the global community, claiming that the U.S. was hoarding something too dangerous for one nation to control. When diplomacy failed, threats followed. Then the first missiles were launched. The first strikes were small. Skirmishes, surgical strikes on American bases rumored to house research data. But they escalated. More nations were pulled into the conflict. Alliances were formed. NATO and the U.S. stood on one side. Russia, China, North Korea, and their allies stood on the other. The world was divided in two, and war erupted on a scale unseen in human history. Cities burned. Aircraft carriers sank beneath the waves. Skies were filled with smoke as bombers flew day and night. The war spread to every continent, and soon it was no longer about Mewtwo. It was about survival. But then came the strike that changed everything. A missile barrage hit the U.S. facility where Mewtwo was held. The psychic dampeners failed. Power systems went offline. The reinforced doors that had held the creature for weeks melted under a surge of psychic energy. Mewtwo was free. For the first time since its capture, it moved, slowly, deliberately, rising into the air. Its eyes blazed with power. Across the planet, every human mind heard the same voice, calm but filled with fury. You fought over me as if I were an object. You caged me. You tortured me. You turned your weapons against each other for the right to control me. Humanity has shown me what it truly is. Greedy, violent, broken. I will end this. Then came the storm. Mewtwo's power erupted like a second sun. Entire battalions of soldiers were torn apart without a sound. Fighter jets dropped from the sky, their engines crushed mid-flight. Nuclear silos were ripped from the ground and hurled into space before their payloads could launch. Whole cities were leveled in an instant, reduced to rubble under psychic shockwaves. There was no army left to fight, no government left to negotiate. Within hours, the war ended, not with a victor, but with silence. Mewtwo hovered over the ruins of the world, staring down at the lifeless cities. Smoke curled into the sky, carrying with it the last traces of human civilization. For a moment, its expression softened. Perhaps it regretted what it had done. Perhaps it didn't. Perhaps a new world can grow from this one, Mewtwo thought, its telepathic voice echoing across the empty earth. Then, with a flash of light, it vanished into the stars, leaving behind a planet stripped of its rulers, silent and still. The age of humanity was over.